Hey everyone, and welcome to NFL Nexus. Today, we are bringing you a massive, super deep dive explainer focused squarely on the Carolina Panthers and their, honestly, incredibly calculated 2026 offseason strategy. I mean, we're going to take our time today and unpack the exact meticulous mechanics of their defensive acquisitions. And then we're going to look at the massive, totally franchise-altering offensive commitments they are making to chase a championship. So settle in, because we're going to linger on every single detail here. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick roadmap for our explainer today. We'll start with the state of the Panthers. Then we'll cover upgrading the defense, followed by the missing linebacker piece. From there, we'll pivot over to the offense, with Bryce Young's bumpy start and his comeback and future, before wrapping up with how you can support NFL Nexus.
Section 1. State of the Panthers, the post-draft and free agency reality. All right, so it's late April right now. The 2026 draft is officially over, and the initial frantic wave of free agency has settled down. But for Panthers general manager Dan Morgan, oh man, the work is far, far from over. As Kevin Patra from NFL.com so perfectly noted in his post-draft analysis, there's always something more that needs to be done. I mean, Patra evaluated all 32 teams, and for Carolina specifically, he pointed out a pretty glaring hole in the defensive side of the ball. In the modern NFL, team building is literally a 365-day-a-year obsession. You're constantly tinkering, constantly looking for that slight edge. And that brings us directly to a hole that Dan Morgan is aggressively trying to fix.
Section 2, upgrading the defense, the Ejiro Evero unit.
So, defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero's scheme absolutely demands elite, instinctive linebackers to stop the run. It's the engine of his whole defensive philosophy. Now, last year, Christian Rozeboom actually led the team in tackles. But here's the kicker, and this brilliantly illustrates the problem. Too often, those tackles were happening 5, 6, or 7 yards downfield. That doesn't help you win football games. So the Panthers let Rozeboom walk in free agency to Tampa Bay. And what did they do instead? They went out and executed a really splashy 3-year deal for former Jaguars first-round pick Devin Lloyd. And Lloyd, he comes from a Jaguars unit that allowed the fewest rushing yards in the entire league. He brings a completely different, much more physical caliber of run defense to Carolina. Let me put this into perspective for you, because Devin Lloyd wasn't just good last year. He was flat-out elite. Pro Football Focus graded him as their third-ranked linebacker in the entire NFL for the 2025 season. Number 3 out of all the starting linebackers in the league. When Jacksonville, surprisingly, and I mean a lot of people were shocked by this, declined his 5th-year option, Dan Morgan literally didn't hesitate. He swooped right in and locked down a premier run stopper right as he's entering his prime. It's a real game changer.
Section 3, the missing linebacker piece, seeking a veteran partner.
So modern defenses, as we know, live in nickel packages. That means Evero urgently needs a reliable, every-down partner to play next to Lloyd. Right now, though, there's a pretty gaping hole there, and it's because of Trevin Wallace. Wallace was drafted in the 3rd round out of Kentucky in 2024 to be a cornerstone piece. But man, he has just been plagued by injuries. Let's look at the timeline here. He missed the final 4 games of his rookie year. Then, he missed 5 of the last 6 regular season games in 2025. And the real heartbreaker, he was completely unavailable for their crucial wildcard game against the Rams. You know, you simply cannot depend on a player who is missing that much critical time, especially late in the season. They need an absolute Iron Man in that spot.
So the crucial point is, who is out there on the open market right now to fill this void? Well, first up, you have the ageless wonder himself, Bobby Wagner. Look at this, 14 seasons of 100-plus tackles. 14 seasons! That is literally an eternity in NFL years. After leaving the Commanders, he brings unparalleled wisdom and leadership. Next up is Bobby Okereke. He's a tackling machine who actually led the Giants in tackles for 2 of his 3 years there, and his sudden availability from Big Blue is super intriguing for Carolina. And finally, there's Kenneth Murray, who brings 6 years of very solid veteran starting experience. Honestly, adding any of these 3 guys would be the ultimate exclamation point on what's already been a wildly successful defensive offseason.
But, you know, building a championship team is a delicate balancing act. It's like a giant puzzle. You can patch all the defensive holes you want, but in today's NFL, you're going exactly as far as your quarterback takes you. There's just no way around it. So how do the Panthers transition from analyzing an immediate glaring defensive need, like linebacker, to making a massive, multi-million-dollar franchise-altering developmental decision on the offensive side of the ball?
Section 4, Bryce Young's bumpy start, the ultimate low.
To really understand the sheer magnitude of Carolina's offensive strategy right now, we kind of have to revisit the ultimate low point.
Bryce Young was drafted #1 overall in 2023. But he struggled so mightily, so visibly, that by week 2 of his sophomore season in 2024, he was actually sent to the bench in favor of Andy Dalton. I mean, people were writing him off. It really felt like his time in Carolina was just over. But then there was this completely unpredictable catalyst. Right before week 8, Andy Dalton tragically suffered a right thumb injury in a car crash, just a total freak accident. And because of that, the Panthers were forced to thrust Young right back onto the field. And what he did with that second chance? Well, it's nothing short of extraordinary.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the complete statistical transformation. It is undeniable. Look at these numbers. In his first 18 games leading up to his benching, Young threw for 3,122 yards, which is okay, but just 11 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. That gave him a pretty poor 70.9 passer rating. But look at the next 28 regular season games after he reclaimed the starting job. It is literally night and day. His passer rating jumped all the way up to 87.4. He threw for a massive 5,375 yards. And the touchdowns? He exploded for 39 touchdowns while only throwing 18 picks. 39! That is the holistic, undeniable transformation of a young quarterback finally figuring out the speed and complexity of the professional game.
Section 5. The Comeback and Future. Playoff bound.
And you know those drastically improved statistics? They translated directly into winning football. Young literally resurrected the franchise. He led them to an 8-9 record, secured the NFC South title, and pushed Carolina into the playoffs for the very first time since 2017. Even in what was a really heartbreaking 34-31 wildcard loss to the Rams, Young proved he completely belonged under the bright lights of the postseason. Let's dissect this performance. He went 21 of 40 passing for 264 yards. He threw a passing touchdown and 1 interception. But he also flashed that incredible dual-threat capability, rushing 3 times for 24 yards and punching in a rushing touchdown. He was doing it all out there.
So, what is the reward for that incredible growth and leadership? Well, here is the magic number. $25,904,000. That is a fully guaranteed payout for the 2027 season. The Panthers officially exercised his 5th-year option. And guys, think about the financial magnitude of this. This is a massive, massive vote of confidence from the exact same front office that had essentially given up on him and benched him just 2 short years prior. Talk about a comeback.
But the really interesting part is what happens after 2027, right? SpotTrack estimates that Bryce Young's current market value for a potential long-term extension sits at a whopping $37.2 million annually. Now let's compare that to the 49ers, who recently locked up Brock Purdy on a 5-year, $53 million deal. That Purdy deal averages out much, much lower per year. This begs a really serious question for Dan Morgan. Should the Panthers wait before committing to a massive, market-setting long-term contract for Bryce? By picking up that 5th-year option, they brilliantly bought themselves an extra year to evaluate him. They don't have to tie up their entire salary cap right now, ensuring they can keep building the defense while seeing if he continues on this incredible upward trajectory.
And you know what? His coaches absolutely believe that trajectory is only going up. In a great February Fox Sports story, head coach Dave Canales said, and I quote, "He just continues to stack lessons." I love that phrasing. Canales emphasized that the benching, as incredibly painful and humiliating as it might have been at the time, was a fundamentally necessary step in building something really cool. Young didn't let the benching break his spirit. Instead, he analyzed it, he internalized it, and he used it as the rock-solid foundation to stack those crucial lessons.
Let's move to the front office and see how this built, because this belief goes all the way up to the very top. General Manager Dan Morgan made his faith completely 100% clear in a really candid interview on March 31st on FanDuel's Kay Autumn show. He stated, "Bryce is definitely our future. He's just this special guy." And honestly, he's right. Young has proven over these last 28 games that he has the rare, elite mental resilience required to be a genuine long-term franchise cornerstone in this league.
Section 6. Support NFL Nexus. Join the community. Hey, if you are enjoying this explainer and you appreciate this level of deep, heavily researched analysis into your favorite teams, please take a second to subscribe to the NFL Nexus channel right now. Go ahead and like this explainer. It really helps us out with the algorithm, and comment down below on what you thought of the Panthers' overall offseason strategy. Do you agree with the moves? Let us know. Your engagement is literally what keeps this entire community thriving.
Also, you can help support NFL Nexus by purchasing our official, beautifully illustrated coloring books. Seriously, these are so cool. They're absolutely perfect for children, for your grandchildren, and honestly, they're a really relaxing way for adults to just unwind while showing your love for the game.
You can access them right now through the link in the description below, or you can simply take out your phone and scan the QR code right here on the screen. Grab yours today. You are absolutely going to love them.
So bringing it all together, we've seen Dan Morgan meticulously patch the run defense with the elite physical acquisition of Devin Lloyd. And we know for sure they are out there hunting for that final veteran linebacker piece to complete Ejiro Evero's puzzle. And on the offensive side, they've demonstrated unwavering, multi-million-dollar belief in Bryce Young's historic comeback. So I leave you with this final thought. Will these targeted, incredibly specific defensive patches, combined with an absolute, steadfast faith in Bryce Young, be the exact formula that finally brings a championship back to Carolina? The blueprint is absolutely there. Now we just have to sit back and watch them execute. Thanks so much for watching this explainer, and I will see you all next time.